Have you ever felt that there's something more to life than just the daily grind? That voice deep within you, whispering that you're meant for something greater, something more profound. The world often tells us that success and fulfillment come from external achievements, possessions, and the approval of others. But what if I told you that the true power you're seeking has been within you all along, hidden beneath the layers of societal expectations and the distractions of the material world? What if everything you need to unlock the life you were meant to live lies dormant within, waiting for the right moment to be awakened? I know this because I've experienced it myself. There was a time when I too chased after external validation. I thought success meant accumulating wealth, impressing others, and fitting into the mold that society deemed successful. But as I reached these milestones, something didn't feel right. It felt as though something was missing, like I was living in a world that didn't quite match my true essence. It was then that I began to ask myself, is this all there is? That question led me on a journey of self-discovery that ultimately opened my eyes to the incredible truth that the secret power, the power to create my own reality, was always within me. This power is not a mystical force or something you need to acquire. It's not about striving or struggling. It's about tapping into the frequencies that govern our inner world and realizing that we are not passive observers of our lives. We are active creators. You too have the ability to reshape your reality by shifting your internal state. It's time to stop looking outside yourself for the answers and begin the journey inward. This is where the true magic lies. You are the master of your fate, and within you is the hidden power to design the life you've always dreamed of. So take a moment to reflect. What would your life look like if you stopped seeking approval and started trusting your inner guidance? What if you stopped chasing after the validation of others and instead turned inward to connect with the very essence of who you are? Today, we're going to uncover that hidden power within you, the power to transcend the limitations of society's expectations and step into your highest potential. It's time to awaken what has been lying dormant. Your journey begins now. The society's illusion, the pursuit of external validation. There's a story I'll never forget, one that serves as a constant reminder of how deeply embedded societal expectations can shape our perceptions of success. A close friend of mine, let's call him David, was once consumed by the idea that true success meant having the perfect job, the biggest house, and the latest car. For years, he worked tirelessly, climbed the corporate ladder, and collected accolades along the way. But one day, in the midst of it all, he stopped. He asked himself, what am I really working for? David had everything society had told him would bring happiness, financial security, status, and the admiration of others. Yet he felt emptier than ever. He was trapped in a cycle of external validation, constantly seeking approval from his peers, his boss, and society at large. The pressure to maintain an image of success weighed heavily on him. No matter how much he achieved, it never felt like enough. That's when the illusion hit him. The belief that material success equals fulfillment was nothing more than a societal fabrication designed to keep people chasing after something that could never satisfy the soul. It's easy to get caught in this trap. Society tells us that happiness is tied to what we own, what we've accomplished, and how others perceive us. The media bombards us with images of successful people, those with perfect lives, shiny cars, and designer wardrobes. The message is clear: success equals possessions, wealth, and status. We're taught to look outward for fulfillment, to measure our worth by what we have, not who we are. But here's the truth: external validation will never fill the void inside you. It's a temporary fix, a fleeting rush that fades the moment you reach the next goal. The more we chase it, the further we drift from our true selves. I've seen it in so many people, including myself. The frantic pursuit of external success, while neglecting the internal world that holds the key to true fulfillment. I spent years trying to impress others, measuring my success by what I had, only to realize that the more I accumulated, the emptier I felt. The truth is that the societal illusion of success is designed to keep us distracted from the most important part of our existence, our inner world. We've been taught to believe that external achievements will bring us happiness, But in reality, happiness is an internal experience. True success comes from knowing who you are, aligning with your deepest values, and living authentically, not from accumulating more things. It's time to break free from this illusion and redefine what success means on your own terms. The frequency of emotions, how your inner world creates your reality. When I first encountered the idea that emotions are frequencies, I was skeptical. It sounded almost too abstract, too spiritual for someone who had always relied on logic and reason. But as I dug deeper, I began to realize that this concept was not just a theoretical idea. It was grounded in science and the laws of the universe. Our emotions are energy, vibrating at different frequencies, and those frequencies influence the world around us. Imagine for a moment that your emotions are like radio signals. Just like a radio station sends out signals that can be tuned into by different devices, your emotions send out frequencies that attract experiences into your life. When you're feeling high-vibe emotions like love, gratitude, and joy, you're emitting a frequency that attracts similar energy. The universe responds accordingly, bringing you experiences that resonate with those higher frequencies. Conversely, when you're caught in emotions like fear, anger, or worry, you send out lower frequencies that attract more of the same: stress, conflict, and negativity. This is not just a feel-good concept, it's backed by quantum physics. Quantum physics reveals that everything in the universe is energy, including our thoughts and emotions. Everything vibrates at a specific frequency, and those frequencies influence everything they come into contact with. The observer effect. A principle in quantum physics tells us that the mere act of observing or focusing on something can change its behavior. In other words, the energy you emit through your thoughts and emotions has a direct impact on the reality you experience. It was a game changer for me when I realized that I had the power to control the frequency I was emitting. For years, I let external circumstances dictate my emotional state. I would feel good when things were going well and bad when they weren't. But when I started consciously choosing to shift my emotional state, my reality began to change. I started attracting opportunities, people, and experiences that aligned with my newfound emotional frequency. The shift was subtle at first, but over time, it became more profound. I realized that I wasn't a passive participant in life. I was the creator of my reality. You too have the ability to control your emotional frequency. Every thought, every feeling, every belief you hold sends out a signal to the universe. And just like a radio, you can tune into the frequency you want to experience. The key is awareness. By becoming aware of your emotional state and choosing to shift it, you begin to change your reality. When you focus on feelings of love, gratitude, and joy, you're tuning into a frequency that attracts positive experiences. And when you choose to release fear, doubt, and negativity, you create space for a new reality, one that aligns with your highest potential. The power of love, gratitude, and passion. Love, gratitude, and passion, 3 words that have the power to transform your life in ways you never imagined. These high-frequency emotions hold the key to unlocking your true potential. Let me share a personal story that changed my entire perspective on life and how I approach my emotions. A few years ago, I was struggling with my career. Despite working hard, I felt stuck, unfulfilled, and disconnected from my purpose. I was constantly chasing after success, but didn't feel a sense of satisfaction. One day, a close mentor of mine asked me a question that shifted everything. What are you passionate about? What makes your heart come alive? At that moment, I realized that I had been focusing so much on external success that I had completely ignored the things that truly sparked joy in me. I had abandoned my passions for the sake of practical success. That conversation was a turning point. I began to reconnect with the things that brought me joy: writing, creating, helping others. And slowly, my reality began to shift. The more I focused on these passions, the more my life aligned with what truly fulfilled me. I also began to practice gratitude daily, appreciating the small moments, the people around me, and the experiences that I often took for granted. Gratitude opened my heart in ways I didn't expect, and as a result, I started attracting more positive experiences. Love, too, played a transformative role. Love is the highest frequency of all. It's not just romantic love, but love for yourself, for others, and for life itself. When you operate from a place of love, your energy radiates outward, attracting more love and positive energy in return. Love has the power to heal, to uplift, and to inspire. It's a force that transcends everything and connects us all. I learned that when you live with passion, gratitude, and love, you align with the highest vibrations of the universe. These emotions act as magnets, attracting everything you desire, opportunities, people, experiences into your life. It's not about chasing after success or material possessions. It's about being so in tune with your true self that everything you need flows naturally toward you. If you want to transform your life, start with these 3 emotions. Cultivate love, gratitude, and passion every day. When you do, you'll begin to see the world shift around you, and you'll realize that the power to create your reality was always within you. Point 4: the shadow side. Fear, doubt, and the lower frequencies. Fear, doubt, and insecurity. These emotions can be some of the most powerful forces in our lives, shaping our decisions, limiting our potential, and keeping us trapped in cycles of stagnation. I remember a time in my life when fear ruled my every thought. I was constantly afraid of failing, of not measuring up to the expectations of others. Fear of rejection, of not being good enough, made me second-guess myself at every turn. Doubt whispered in my ear, telling me that I wasn't capable, that I couldn't reach my dreams. I lived in this constant state of internal conflict, torn between my aspirations and the fear that held me back. But here's what I've come to understand: fear and doubt are not obstacles, they are signals. They are simply lower frequency emotions that arise when we step outside of our comfort zone, when we are on the verge of growth and transformation. The real challenge lies in how we respond to them. At one point, I thought these feelings were a sign of weakness, something to be feared and avoided. But over time, I realized they were just part of the human experience. Everyone experiences fear and doubt at some point. It's how we choose to navigate them that determines our trajectory. Fear, when acknowledged and confronted, can be a powerful tool for growth. It signals that we are about to step into the unknown, to break free from our limitations. But when we let it control us, it becomes a prison, locking us in a state of perpetual inaction. The same goes for doubt. Doubt is natural, but it can also be paralyzing. It makes us question our abilities, our worth, and our path. But the truth is that doubt is not a reflection of our potential. It's simply a reflection of our lack of self-belief. Once I realized that fear and doubt were not signs to stop, but signs to push forward, my life began to change. Instead of letting fear dictate my decisions, I began to use it as fuel. When doubt crept in, I embraced it, acknowledging its presence but refusing to let it define me. I started focusing on the higher frequencies, the feelings of courage, trust, and belief in myself. And slowly but surely, I began to shift my reality. Fear and doubt may always be a part of life, but they no longer control me. Instead of hiding from them, I face them head-on, knowing that on the other side of fear lies my true potential. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of fear and doubt, remember this: those emotions are not your enemies. They are simply the shadows that accompany the light of your growth. Acknowledge them, face them, and then rise above them. When you shift your frequency from fear and doubt to courage and belief, you align yourself with the powerful force that lies within you. And that force is unstoppable. The quantum shift, understanding the science behind your power. I used to think of the universe as a collection of random events and circumstances. I saw myself as a mere observer, caught up in the ebb and flow of life without much influence over my surroundings. But everything changed the moment I encountered the concept of quantum physics. It was a revelation, a shift in perspective that opened my eyes to the immense power we hold within. Quantum physics, at its core, is the study of the smallest particles of matter, atoms, electrons, and subatomic particles that make up everything in the universe. What's fascinating is that these particles do not behave in a predictable way. They exist in a state of possibility in multiple locations at once until an observer interacts with them. This is called the observer effect. In simple terms, the act of observing or focusing on something can influence its behavior. What does this have to do with you and your power? Everything. The observer effect suggests that consciousness, the very thoughts and emotions you hold, has a direct impact on the world around you. Your focus, your intention, your energy all influence the reality you experience. This means that you are not a passive observer of life. You are an active participant. The universe is responding to your energy, to the frequencies you emit. When I first grasped this concept, it felt like a weight had been lifted. I realized that my thoughts and emotions weren't just fleeting feelings. They were powerful forces that shaped my reality. The more I focused on positive emotions like love, gratitude, and joy, the more I began to attract experiences that aligned with those frequencies. It was as if the universe was listening to my inner state and responding in kind. But it wasn't just about positive thinking. It was about understanding that everything in the universe, including us, is energy. Our bodies, our thoughts, our feelings, everything vibrates at a certain frequency. The higher the frequency, the more in alignment we are with our true potential. When we align our thoughts, emotions, and intentions with higher frequencies, we unlock the power to shape our reality in ways we never thought possible. I began to experiment with this concept in my own life. I focused on raising my frequency, on becoming more conscious of my thoughts and emotions. When fear or doubt arose, I acknowledged it but didn't allow it to dominate my focus. I redirected my energy toward the positive, toward what I wanted to create in my life, and the results were astounding. Opportunities began to appear, relationships deepened, and I felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that I had never experienced before. The quantum shift is not just a theory, it's a reality that you can tap into right now. The power to create your own reality lies within you, and it starts with understanding that your thoughts, emotions, and focus have the power to shape the world around you. When you consciously choose to align with higher frequencies, you begin to see the world respond in ways that reflect your inner state. You are not just a product of your circumstances, you are the creator of your reality. Unveiling your true potential, the transformation process. There was a time in my life when I felt like I was living on autopilot. I was going through the motions, meeting deadlines, achieving goals, but none of it felt fulfilling. I was successful by external standards, but inside I felt lost. I knew there had to be more to life than this. That's when I started my journey of self-transformation. It wasn't an overnight process. It was a slow and steady unfolding of who I truly was, peeling back the layers of conditioning, fear, and self-doubt. The first step in my transformation was self-awareness. I began to examine my thoughts, my beliefs, and my patterns. Why did I feel unfulfilled despite my success? What was I truly passionate about? What did I want my life to look like? I realized that I had been living according to other people's expectations, pursuing goals that weren't truly mine. I was stuck in a cycle of pleasing others, achieving what society deemed valuable, but none of it resonated with my soul. The process of unveiling my true potential required me to get honest with myself. It required me to acknowledge the parts of me that I had ignored or suppressed, my passions, my desires, my dreams. As I started to reconnect with these parts, I began to feel a sense of purpose that had been missing for so long. I started to trust myself more, to believe in my abilities, and to take risks that I had once been too afraid to take. The transformation process is not always easy. It requires you to face your fears, to challenge old beliefs, and to step into the unknown. But it is the most rewarding journey you can take. When you begin to live authentically, when you align with your true self, the world begins to respond differently. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach start to unfold before you. People who align with your energy are drawn into your life. You become magnetized to the experiences that resonate with your true potential. The transformation process is ongoing. It's not a destination, but a continuous evolution. Every day is an opportunity to step further into the person you are becoming. It's about living with intention, embracing your true essence, and trusting the journey. If you're feeling stuck or unfulfilled, remember this: the process of unveiling your true potential starts with one simple choice: to honor who you truly are and begin living in alignment with your soul's desires. Your transformation is already underway, breaking free from the chains of materialism. For as long as I can remember, I was taught that success meant having more money, more possessions, more achievements. I was constantly chasing after the next thing, always striving for the next level of success, thinking that once I reached it, I would finally feel content. But the more I acquired, the less fulfilled I felt. I remember a moment when I was sitting in my office, surrounded by expensive furniture, a new car parked outside, and a nice paycheck in my bank account. On paper, I had everything I was supposed to want, but inside I felt empty. I realized that the pursuit of material success had consumed me, and it wasn't bringing me the happiness I had been promised. I had been living in the illusion that more possessions would lead to more happiness, but all they brought me was stress, anxiety, and a sense of emptiness. I was caught in the cycle of materialism, striving for things I didn't truly need, and measuring my worth by what I owned. Breaking free from this cycle wasn't easy. It required me to confront my beliefs about success, to redefine what truly mattered to me, and to let go of the things that no longer served me. I began to realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from what we accumulate, but from how we live, who we become, and the impact we make on the world. I started to shift my focus from material possessions to experiences, from external validation to internal peace. I stopped chasing after things and began pursuing passions that truly aligned with my heart. The more I let go of materialism, the more space I created for genuine fulfillment. I started valuing relationships, personal growth, and moments of joy over the constant accumulation of possessions. I realized that the true riches of life are found in the intangible: love, connection, purpose, and fulfillment. If you're feeling stuck in the pursuit of material success, remember this: true freedom comes when you break free from the chains of materialism and start living in alignment with your soul's desires. The things you own do not define you. The life you live, the love you give, and the impact you make are the true measures of success. Let go of the need for more and embrace the abundance that already exists within you. Embracing the power of the chosen ones, leading by example. There was a moment in my life when I realized that I wasn't just living for myself. Something inside me clicked. I wasn't just going through the motions or chasing personal goals. I had been chosen for something greater, something that extended beyond my individual aspirations. I began to feel the weight of responsibility and the excitement of the opportunity that lay before me. It wasn't about achieving success for the sake of recognition. It was about leading by example and showing others what was possible when they tapped into their own potential. It wasn't always easy to embrace this new understanding. There were times when doubt crept in, when I questioned whether I was truly capable of leading or if I was just an ordinary person like everyone else. But as I looked around, I saw how the world was in desperate need of change, of people who were not just following the typical path, but forging a new one. I began to see that being chosen wasn't about being special or extraordinary in the traditional sense. It was about having the courage to break away from societal expectations, to follow your heart and lead others by being your authentic self. It wasn't about having all the answers, but about being willing to walk the path with integrity, courage, and faith in the journey. I realized that those of us who feel called to something bigger are here not to shine alone, but to inspire others to do the same. And when we live authentically, we give others permission to do the same. The power of the chosen ones is not in what they achieve for themselves, but in how they inspire and uplift those around them. I began to understand that leadership is not always about being in the spotlight, but about quietly leading by example, showing others the way through the choices we make, the energy we carry, and the love we share. If you've ever felt like you're meant for something bigger, trust that you are. Embrace your power, not for personal gain, but as a way to create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own life. You are here to lead by example, to show the world what's possible when we align with our true purpose. and to inspire others to find their own unique path to fulfillment. The moment you step into your true power, you'll begin to see that you are leading, even if you don't realize it at first. Your presence, your actions, and your energy will speak louder than any words you could say, and you'll be amazed at the impact you can have simply by living in alignment with your higher self. The ripple effect, how your transformation impacts the world. When I began my journey of transformation, I had no idea how far-reaching the effects would be. It started with small changes within myself, shifting my mindset, letting go of limiting beliefs, and aligning with my true desires. At first, it felt like I was only changing my own life, but as I continued on this path, I began to notice something incredible. My transformation was impacting the people around me in ways I couldn't have anticipated. Friends who had been stuck in negative patterns began to shift as well. Conversations became deeper, more meaningful, and filled with a new sense of possibility. People who had once been distant or critical started to open up to me, sharing their own struggles and aspirations. It was as if my own journey had created a ripple that touched the lives of everyone I encountered. I saw that when we undergo a personal transformation, we don't just change ourselves, we change the world around us. Every step we take toward becoming our true selves sends out a wave of energy that influences others. It's like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples extend far beyond the point of impact. I witnessed this firsthand as my own transformation inspired others to take action in their own lives. One person would start meditating, another would pursue a passion they had long neglected, and someone else would begin to challenge their own limiting beliefs. I saw how one person's courage to change could create a chain reaction that touched many others. It was humbling to realize that by simply choosing to step into my own power, I had unknowingly become a catalyst for change in the lives of those around me. This ripple effect is a powerful reminder of how interconnected we all are. When we transform ourselves, we help transform the world. Every positive change you make within yourself sends out a wave of energy that has the potential to inspire others to do the same. This is the power of the ripple effect. You may never fully understand the impact you're having on the people around you, but know that every step you take toward becoming your best self creates a ripple that extends far beyond your own life. The world needs you to step into your power, to show others what's possible when we choose to live authentically. You may not see the immediate results, but trust that your transformation is making a difference and that the ripple effect is already at work. The journey of awakening, embracing the unknown. There was a time when the unknown terrified me. The idea of stepping into uncharted territory, of leaving behind what was familiar and safe, filled me with anxiety. I remember when I first began to question the path I was on. It felt as though everything I had built, my career, my relationships, my sense of self, was suddenly in question. The security I had relied on for so long began to feel like a cage, and I knew that if I wanted to truly grow, I had to embrace the unknown. The decision wasn't easy. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into the abyss, unsure of what awaited me. But something inside me knew that I couldn't stay where I was any longer. I had to jump, even if I didn't know where I would land. And so, I began the journey of awakening, a journey of shedding the old and embracing the new. It was a process of rediscovering who I truly was, beyond the roles I had played or the labels I had worn. As I stepped into the unknown, I began to understand that the unknown isn't something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. It's in the unknown that we find our greatest growth, our most profound discoveries, and our deepest transformations. The unknown is where we meet our true selves. The journey of awakening is not a linear path. There are moments of doubt, of confusion, and of fear. There were times when I felt completely lost, unsure of where I was going or what the next step would be. But through it all, I learned to trust the process, to trust that everything was unfolding as it should. Each step I took, no matter how uncertain, brought me closer to the person I was meant to become. The unknown is where the magic happens. It's where we let go of control and allow life to unfold in its own way. And when we embrace the unknown, we open ourselves up to infinite possibilities. If you are standing at the edge of the unknown, feeling scared or uncertain, I encourage you to take that first step. Trust that the universe has a plan for you and that the path you are on is leading you to exactly where you need to be. Embrace the discomfort, the uncertainty, and the fear, because it is in these moments that the greatest growth occurs. The journey of awakening is not about having all the answers, but about being willing to explore, to question, and to trust the unknown. The more you embrace it, the more you will discover about yourself, and the more you will uncover the life you were always meant to live. Conclusion: your secret power unlocking the life you were meant to live. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to leave you with one final thought. The life you've always dreamed of is waiting for you, but it's not out there somewhere. It's within you. The power to create the life you were meant to live has always been inside you, hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, and societal conditioning. Throughout this process, we've uncovered the truth about your true potential. We've explored how your emotions shape your reality, how embracing your true self can lead you to personal transformation, and how the power of the chosen ones lies not in their achievements, but in their ability to lead by example and inspire others. But the most important lesson is this: you are not meant to live a life of limitation, fear, or conformity. You are meant to live a life of passion, purpose, and fulfillment. Your secret power lies in your ability to align with your true self, to embrace the unknown, and to trust the process of transformation. The moment you begin to live from this place of authenticity and self-awareness, your life will shift in ways you never thought possible. The universe is waiting for you to step into your power, to claim the life you were always meant to live. It won't be easy, and there will be challenges along the way, but know that you have everything you need to succeed. The power to create the life you desire is already within you. It always has been. All that's left to do is awaken it, embrace it, and begin living it. Your journey is just beginning. So take that first step, trust yourself, and know that the life you've always dreamed of is within reach. Your secret power is the key to unlocking the life you were meant to live. And now, it's time to step into that power and embrace the limitless possibilities that await you.